Welcome to Catch Her Spark with Jen Maldonado. These are conversations with women who are building meaningful careers, stepping into leadership, and designing life on their own.
Oh my goodness. Here's something I love about today's guest. And one of the things that is happening is a lot of people is pretending, right, that they have it figured out. But she's not pretending to have it all figured out right now. And honestly, that's exactly why this conversation is going to be so good. We're going to talk about transitioning to do the things that we really love as women for who we are, the things we have done, the things that we're passionate about. And today's guest, for over a decade, Ana Ekman, was the person enterprise leaders call when they were starting down big, complicated digital workplace decisions. She helped CIOs and SISOs make sense of the complexity, right? Turning this is really hard into here's exactly what we do. So she built trust in rooms where trust is hard to earn. She got really, really good at her thing. And now she's doing something a lot of people talk about, but very few actually do. She hit pause, she looked around, she's exploring herself and asked, what is next for me? So she's in the middle of her own self discovery, leaning into curiosity instead of this is the things I want to do, uncertainty, and exploring what excites her in her new journey. So, everybody, help me welcome Ana. Ana, how are you today?
I'm great. Thank you, Jen, for inviting me. And this is an amazing introduction. I couldn't have said it so, so for myself, but yeah, that's who I am and where I am at my life, at my career. I'm excited to be here, to be honest.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Anna, I think that a lot of people think about, hey, I want to do something different. Some of us choose because we want to, some of us choose because of our circumstances. But when that opportunity is given, a lot is happening in our heads, in our
Yeah.
hearts, in our way of thinking. Tell us what happened, what has been that transition for you, and let's be real about what happens when you embark in a new journey of adaptability.
Oh, God, it is scary. That's kind of the first word that comes to mind. It is not easy. And for me, it wasn't something that I chose because I was part of the layoffs, and I know that many in the IT industry now can relate because what we are all experiencing is this constant shift in priorities and focus, and due to technology rapidly developing, and I dare to say that word AI is changing everything. And since it's so new, even our employees, even our employers don't know what is the right direction. So we're all in it together to find out the right way. And that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And I'm really grateful that I have that opportunity because I think there's a lot of interesting things ahead of us and opportunities that we can pursue to basically, I don't know what's the right, how to describe it best. It's like not reach for the stars because I'm a very practical person.
Mhm.
Like, yes, definitely, I would love to dream big, but at the same time, I'm fully understanding now that that's what I'm good at and that's what are my capabilities. So
Wow.
I think I'm ready to do what I love and get paid for it.
I love it. I love
Rather than just kind of like, oh, that's the demand, that's my resume matches the job description, so I can go and kind of grind my teeth and suffer through it. I think
it.
that this colossal shift
Yes.
opens that opportunity to actually have both for a change.
Yes. I mean, it's nerve-wracking
Yeah.
going through the process. I remember, and Anna, probably I didn't tell you this, but when I quit my job, I didn't have a clear plan of what I wanted to do. I just picked something that I say, I think this is the path. And I remember going on my car super excited, and then I start crying, like, what is that I
Ah,
do? How am I going to survive? And it became these challenging process between what I wanted, who I wanted to become, can I do it? And how can I be very practical to your point,
yeah,
right? It's like, is this is gonna work? And if it doesn't work, what do I do? So my brain went into so many directions, but through the journey, I discover ways to overcome that. I discover community, people that help me go through this process where I become a fully entrepreneur and I left my engineering identity in the back and say it's time to me to become Jennifer and do the things that Jennifer want to do. Where are you in that
yes.
journey? What are you doing discovering that journey?
Uh, I would say that the first step that I did is just actually take a pause. Because, like, yes, when especially when we're laid off, when it's not of our choice, we tend to panic and start actioning, like continue the same motion and just basically panic applying for everything what's humanly possible because of all this scaremongery about how difficult it is to find a job out there. But nothing will gonna happen in a week or two. But just take that space to think and reassess, and then join a community, I would say, or join the group, the postcard, and listen to kind of be part of the group that experiencing similar things that you are experiencing. Because I tend to overthink. I tend to like paint things in a much more negative way that they actually are. And other people can really, truly help you to kind of understand yourself.
Yeah.
And like for me, this is not the first time
Mhm.
of when I'm reassessing things in life because I had a, as I call it, I used to call it that midlife career change because at the ripe age of 30, many, many years ago, oh, in the new, an absolutely new country with two little kids, I decided that I wanted to uh, drop my career in design where I was a client manager, project manager, and start a new path in the world of IT. And like I started that journey from the very beginning. And that was easy for me in a way because when you start from the scratch, you kind of, as a, well, the beginning is SDR, BDR, like they teach you, they educate you, and kind of you're set on that new career path as new. And I think that's kind of, for me, it was an easy transition. But when you do it at true midlife, where I am right now, it's, I think that's what difference from previous kind of transition that I had, that I do not want to start from the very beginning and I don't need to anymore. And somehow that's even more scarier than it's like, okay, let's scrap that, everything that I learned in the previous industry, previous role, and start from the beginning. But now what I'm doing is it's like, how can I learn from everything from the last 20 years of what I've been doing everywhere, what I'm good at, as well as what I'm enjoying the most, and what is that path for me.
Yeah.
So kind of that's what I find is difficult as long like when you mature, when you like
Yes. Of
older.
course. Of course. I think one of my best or my favorite quotes are from Steve Jobs that he says, you can never connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. And what you're sharing is that you have been given the opportunity, not in the most pleasant way, but you have been given the opportunity to take some thinking time, look back and says, what do I want to keep from my life? And stand still but not only that, you have done something that I think is what has distinguished the successful people in this journey. You have reached out to communities that will
Yeah.
support you, help you, give you a different perspective on how can you approach these new transformation, these new choices, right? Because there's always the certainty side, the safe side, let's go and find another job, which there's nothing wrong with that. But you have the opportunity to choose consciously what you want, what do you want your life look like? And I think that that's the gift behind that. Now, let's go over these details because you mentioned a couple of things that click in my head too. So us practical women, we tend to be very technical, risk management, and I think that a lot of people forget that that can be a gift too, right? And what role plays, and this is a part that might be challenging, but how do you let your gift of risk management expand you or limit you in these decisions that you're making?
Oh God. Yeah, that's a tough one because it's like I have to be realistic about my own abilities, but at the same time, like I want to be brave and I want to try things. So that's why I have kind of a few streams going on at the moment. And I think that's the only way I found myself how to manage that kind of anxiety part or risk management part, as well as aspirational part of things. It's just to build my personal brand
Mhm.
and kind of have that as my own identity rather than something adjacent to my employer. So,
Yeah.
yes, I will look for a new job that is more in line with my passion, but I will pursue my passion at the same time. I don't have to give up one over the other because I'm a very opinionated woman, aren't we all? And I like to share my opinions, and what I've noticed that people do appreciate my thoughts and kind of the things that I have to share and say. And sometimes when, like, yes, there is this kind of thin line that you don't want to cross over, that it's like does not kind of harm whoever you work for in your judgments, but there are ways when you can still be that thought leader and have your own voice without stepping on kind of your
Yeah.
career objectives. And God knows, kind of, we'll see. So for me, it's just not to put what I'm doing is not to put all eggs in one basket. Because that's what I tend to do. It's like the full on focus on whoever I work, everything what I do is just for that particular job. Like, you know, yeah. So carve a little space for yourself and be a little bit selfish about it. Like that's how I say,
Yeah,
because for me, it feels like selfishness, but it's not.
correct.
It's healthy to have a space of your own. It's healthy to have a voice of your own, not just being a voice of your employer at the time. That's kind of what I say to myself.
I love it, Anna. Like, have your own voice. And I think that a lot of women struggle with that in corporate world, in the entrepreneurship world. Like, it's hard sometimes to express what you want in a way that keeps the balance. There's so many stigmas, there's so many history being carried, especially with women in entrepreneurship, incorporating in other jobs, right? That it's hard to find your voice when the system itself it's trying to keep it down. And unconsciously or consciously, I think that's one conversation a lot of
Right.
women need to have. How do we find our voice, but also how do we express so it lands properly? So tell me about some of your secrets when you're communicating your voice, right? To people in general, corporate or everything. What are some of the secrets so things land in a way that your voice is being heard?
Um, I think it's just not being afraid to be bold.
Yeah.
And I think you need to come from a genuine place because we all have this ulterior personality. Or, oh God, my kids picked up on it. They just say that, Mommy, we hate your corporate voice. Why do you speak like that? And I'm sure that others pick up on that as well. That you kind of, what I'm learning is to be authentic myself and believe in what you say rather than play a role of who you think others might like. But at the same time, um, be knowledgeable about, if you're talking about certain subject, you need to know everything about it or as much as you possibly can, because that's unfortunately another side of being a woman, that you will be scrutinized more than someone else and questioned. And yeah, it's be yourself, be unapologetic, and be knowledgeable.
Ah, I love it. I love it. And you mentioned that portion of being authentic yourself. There's no more powerful position when you feel that this is me, this is what I believe, this is what I know, right? And we are able to express what we think, how we feel about something, and both sides. And I think that's a magical process that happens. And to your point, it's sometimes it can be challenging being very real because as a
Yeah,
woman people are judging you more, even between women. And I think Anna will start having this conversation, right?
yeah,
Like yes, the sometimes the guys have to help us to, right, to step up and allow a more smooth conversation. So let's talk about that. What's happening in the world that sometimes other women can become our nemesis when in reality they can be our collaborators, supporters, or cheerleaders? Can we tap
yeah.
into that? That's going to be fun.
I'm, yeah, thank you. I'm just going through this amazing journey, discovering that it's actually mostly in my head.
Hmm.
So that, or this is something that no longer is true. But we tend to believe that kind of the women in power, they will not be our mentors. They are kind of our competitors, and we are all kind of alone there climbing the corporate ladder. And it is not true anymore. It doesn't have to be unless we make it. So that's why I'm kind of, oh yeah, and I kind of mentioned it to you, I believe, like when I'm going to those woman specific communities for the first time, groups, and discovering how helpful it is to have someone who is like you going through the same things, and you can literally like brainstorm together and help each other. But most so the funny part is it's like I think I like the fact that it is a guy or a former colleague of mine who had to explain to me that, oh, you're the same like her, so you can be friends. And kind of, no, she liked you. And it just kind of was like a wake up call that I automatically dismissed someone because that's what I'm used to, like the competition, but it is not anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my experiences going through that journey too is the preconceptions that we got, right? And this is something I notice in corporate world. And I'm not saying that that doesn't happen in the entrepreneurship world, but in corporate, I feel myself all the time in these guard position because I was expecting every woman was attacking me somehow, some way. And the few times that I wanted to be
Really?
vulnerable, then they validate what I was expecting. And I'm like, what is that I'm doing to attract this kind of behavior? And it's not until I put myself in the community that they were willing to support me, to have my back, to tell me the truth when it was needed, support
Yeah.
each other, right? Or even give us a different perspective, that I felt I was able to leave my guards down and really understand how powerful it can be when women support each other instead of competing,
Um,
coming from an abundance mindset. And not every community is like that. It has been my experience, but the ones I have found, it's amazing, right? You become more brave.
yes.
I We have this saying that they lend you their voice when you don't know your own voice. What's been your experience with this new journey for you, and how that is helping you shape the decisions you're about to make?
It just helps me to ground me, but also at the same time, just kind of reassessing not just the corporate world, but perception of myself. Because yes, like I think that world is really polarizing now. Polarizing, like it's like you have to take sides, or you have to take an identifier somehow, or we feel a pressure like I am woman in tech, or I am that minority somewhere.
Yeah.
But we're all different, and every single label you put on yourself kind of makes you different and the same. And it's kind of learning how to use your advantages, because or how to turn your perceived disadvantages
Yeah.
into advantages. And for example, I'm not just a woman, I'm also foreign, and I'm an immigrant in a new country, building a new life at and for me, being in corporate sales, someone would see it as a disadvantage, others not. And it's like joining those communities. It doesn't have to be just for women. It's just in general, in my opinion, just help you to uncover your hidden talents and how you can turn it into your advantages. Yes, that's, and again, going back, be unapologetically yourself, because this is who I am. There is nothing I can change about it. So what can we do? Because that could be an amazing door opener, because I am loud, I am foreign, yes, but I have this breadth of experience no one else has.
Yeah.
That, and I'm highly knowledgeable and smart. So in sales, for example, yeah, I have a door opener, because there is that curiosity, shock value, but at the same time, then when you start talking and you show you understand, that's the moment where you capture. So that's kind of a couple of meetings that I attended. But for example, Austin Women in Tech taught me that it's like you can always spin the table around and make something negative positive no matter what. And I don't know, I'm sure I would have come to that conclusion myself at some point, but it's so much easier and better to do it together. And kind of
Yeah,
just,
communities are
yeah,
accelerators, Anna, of
exactly,
our journey.
fast.
Yes, they help us get there. They help us discover, at the end, we're different and we're all the same. We're different in different aspects on where we are struggling for the different reasons. But when we
Yes,
find a community, these communities guide us on how to overcome this in a way that it becomes a strength, that it becomes a way of succeeding, not a way of being victimized. And I think that that's the magic of all of this. I'm from Puerto Rico, so I'm not from the States, so I understand exactly what you're dealing with. And also, I learned the language when I moved here, which, it was a decade ago. But it took me time. And those struggles, sometimes, it's hard to find it in different communities. But the amazing thing is we have so many tribes that we can be part of it to help us in this
Yes.
journey. And that's what excites me about what you're going through. I know it hurts. I know it makes us nervous, and it requires a lot of bravery, a lot of being bold, allowing ourselves to be ourselves, the real ourselves, not what everybody else is expecting us to do.
Yeah.
So I love that journey.
Yeah, and for me, it was so helpful. For example, the event I went to yesterday was just the helping you not to give up, because that's another thing. It's like we're trying, and if certain things not happening the way we want, we're all humans. So we tend to kind of get disappointed. Some people more than another, and we will sulk in our loneliness going through that. Uh, and going out there, I think like COVID had an implication mentally on so many people, and people started to deal kind of with their own problems themselves alone, and it's not healthy, in my
Yeah.
honest opinion.
Yeah.
We need to start breaking that perception, breaking that kind of habit of isolating ourselves. There is like that's it. There is no more isolation needed.
Love it.
We are naturally community
Yes.
animals. So let's get out there. Let's seek for that support. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah. I don't
I
know.
love
Have
that.
you heard about those third places
The
of
what?
conception of the third places?
No, I
That
haven't.
because it's like we lost the third places in our life, because it's like you have family, you have friends, and then like at home, at work, and then there is that third place where you go, whether it's kind of, I don't know, hobby that you have, or even your church, if you uh,
Mhm.
kind of religious person, or some other place where you would go to meet friends.
Mhm.
And that's kind of why there is this epidemic of depression and loneliness, because it's not enough to be just at work or at home. You need to have that third perspective on your life to keep you grounded, keep you supported.
I love that. Yeah, you have to reach out to community to really allow yourself to develop yourself. Because even if you
Yeah.
think about, some people say, I can be more successful alone. Seriously? Then you are more successful when there's this ripple effect that you impact people. That's what success um, becomes really important. Because, yes, you can make a lot of money, you can make a lot of great things, but what makes you human is that human connection, and that it's that human influence, right? Everything else is replaceable, but who you are inside in your core, that's your authentic self. That's something that no one can replace, no one can imitate, duplicate, right? And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that, reaching out. Now, Anna, let me ask you, we're getting to the final. I want to ask you so many questions. We will have to do another episode or something, but there's two more questions I want to ask. One, and this is like talking real, right? When you got laid off, there's a transition process, and that transition process not only challenge you mentally, emotionally, and make you think about all of those things, but also the aspects of financial preparation. Through that process, did something different that allow you to take thinking time to do this calmly? Like, are you investing stocks, real estate, or do you have a side gig? Tell me more how you prepare to maintain your focus and thinking time, because that's a real challenge. And when you're in transition.
Yes. I was not prepared at all. So everything that you mentioned, now I am doing in parallel. And that's kind of a learning for me that you have to be prepared. You have to have several streams going on at the same time. And figure it out fast, because or long before kind of something like a layoff will happen to you. But somehow I think kind of this new generation is much better at it, and that's why and that's what I'm learning now, that again, concept of putting all your eggs in one basket is long dead. And in the current changing world, there are so many opportunities to kind of have those cushions that are not provided for you by government or whoever. I know my sister lives in Germany, so if she gets laid off, she has everything covered. But we don't have that luxury here.
Yes.
And it just makes you think differently. And I'm actually excited about it, because it's like I'm looking into building my own application, and I would like to learn more about investing. And it's so fascinating that now I can do it all myself, thanks to the AI or evil AI, whoever name it. But for me, it just opened a completely different world where someone non-technical like me actually can make certain things like I could only dream of. So yes, I'm working on my personal blog, and I want to kind of do it properly, rather than just, oh my God, I thought about this, let's publish it. I just more systematically, I want to build a certain app that kind of corresponds with my personal passion for shopping.
Good.
And a great fashion at a very affordable prices. Like there is fun stuff, because I'm a treasure hunter, and how can I automate my hunting instead of doing it manually on a weekly basis, checking the certain clearances section? But I'm already saying too much. But yeah.
Love it. Well, let's do this, Anna. Because I know it's coming for you, right? And I know we have to do another episode when you're ready to show how Anna's transformation has been going. But if people want to know more about your blog and information about you, to figure out about your journey, where you are, what's the best way to connect with you?
For now, I would say LinkedIn. Yeah, because I'm still transitioning, but I think I'm gonna move into Substack, because I'm a big fan of long form articles.
Yeah.
But I will do the snippets as well, with the help of
Yeah.
another AI tool that I recently discovered. Oh my God, Jen, you will keep me accountable for everything what I've said. I will have to make it real now.
Welcome to Catch Your Spark. We're gonna turn that spark into fire and bonfire, because that's what we are about, Anna. Seeing women succeed, helping, sharing knowledge, resources, ideas, and ensuring that they can go for the dream and discovering, their best version of themselves. And that's the journey of our women in our community. So sadly, we have to leave it to here, but I'm so looking forward in the future to have you back when we are ready for this, to hear all of those things. Anna, well, thank you so much for spending this time with us and sharing your journey openly, unapologetically with our community. So thank you for being with us.
And thank you for inviting, and I'll be more than happy to share more.
You've been listening to Catch Your Spark with Jen Maldonado, where bold women lead the way. Ready to share your spark? Apply to be a guest at catchyorspark.com/guest.